Hello there, my name is Lou Wieland, and for the last 30 years I have published the official relocation guides on Atlanta that are distributed by the First Multiple Listing Service of Atlanta. The magazines are on the First Multiple Listing Service website. They are distributed by realtors and chambers of commerce to families and businesses moving here. And they are also in the FMLS stores where realtors shop for supplies, get training, and on that website, by the way, they can access all the listings of homes for sale and businesses as well. The First Multiple Listing Service, I believe, is the second largest multiple listing service in the United States. It is expanding and now into Puerto Rico, Florida, Tennessee, Alabama, and of course Georgia. And and every time you turn around, they're adding a new market. So it's amazing what they're doing. And they do have listings for commercial properties for sale or lease, land, etc. So if you're an agent, you might check it out. If you're a commercial agent, check it out. It's not LoopNet is not the only game in town at this stage. So. I'm also a realtor with KW Commercial. I focus on the commercial properties for investments, leasing office space, land, and multifamily. If I can help you with any of your commercial or residential, my email is lou@louwieland.com. So every week we interview community leaders and we invite people who are contributing to the well-being of our great city and making sacrifices and contributions to the well-being of the community. And today we have certainly the pleasure of having an interview with one of those people, the mayor of East Point, Mayor Deana Holiday Ingraham. Welcome to the show, Mayor. It's great to have you on the show. And thanks for taking a minute to bring us up to date on your great city and all the cool things that are happening over there.
Well, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to join you today.
Yeah, well, we've had other representatives from your great city on the show over the years, and learned a lot about your city. And we do profile your city in the Atlanta magazine, by the way. And so, Mayor, just by way of brief introduction, she has a bachelor's of Science degree from Florida A&M in Business Administration, a Master's of Science degree from Nova Southeastern, and a Juris Doctorate from Howard in Washington, D.C., my hometown. And she has been very active in many other civic and community organizations, and I believe you are currently president of the South Fulton Municipal Association. Is that correct?
I was through the end of last year, so it just changed over at the beginning of this year.
Okay. So you have
Yep, I was the president for 2021 and 2022.
Okay. So you've been involved in a lot of other activities, a lot of other organizations as a leader, and appreciate all the service that you have contributed to the city. And your husband is Willie, and you are the proud parents of a daughter named Nia.
Yes.
And how old is
Yeah,
she?
the Snuck Got 'em Shook is her nickname. She's a softball player and a pitcher. So she's a triple threat, strikes, hits, and assists. That's my baby.
How old is she?
She's 13. She just became a teenager in November. So, yeah.
Welcome to the life of a parent of a teenager.
It is different. It is different.
I have 6 grandchildren and 2 children and 6 grandchildren. So I believe me, I've heard quite a few stories about that life. I experienced them too. So welcome to the show. Now, why don't you just give us a quick thumbnail type sketch, if you would, of the city of East Point. How would you, on an elevator pitch, how would you give an elevator pitch about East Point?
Well,
Well, there's absolutely no point like East Point, and it is because we are a multi-generational city, a multicultural city. We have a significant LGBTQIA plus community within our city. Our diversity within our ethnicities is increasing as well, and we have really small, quaint communities and neighborhoods where people know each other, and we're nestled right next to the world's um, a major metropolis and two MARTA stops from the world's busiest airport. And so we're a jewel city that has a number of different amenities. And in the heart of our downtown, we have the third soccer field on the world's first transit soccer league. Called Station Soccer East Point in partnership with MARTA Soccer in the Streets. And we are very excited about that partnership and looking forward to welcoming the world to East Point when the World Cup comes to Atlanta in the metro area in 2026.
Well, I don't know if you are aware of this fact that I've did some research on the stats for the real estate market there yesterday and this morning, and the median price of a home in your city is $305,000 as of yesterday.
Say it again. What's the amount?
The median is 305,
Okay.
and that is up 16.3% year over year. Now that compares very favorably with the metro area. The median house, the price for the entire metro is 382, and it was up and only 2%. So you are 8 times the increase of the metro area. So a lot of good things are going on in your great city, and we have a lot to talk about as to why that's happening. And you're in your second term there, so you probably had something to do with with that great
Yeah,
increase.
second term as mayor, and I served one term as a council member. So I'm actually going into my 10th year of service, or in my 10th year of service.
Wow, good. Well, one of my best friends for decades lives there, and I was on the way over to the studio today. I asked him, "Why do you like East Point? What do you like?" He's lived there for many years, and he went on and on with a great amount of enthusiasm. And I said, "Well, I wish I could have recorded that conversation, because when you ask
Yes.
people about where they live, the town, you don't often hear a really enthusiastic explanation." And so, I mean, I know that there's a lot of going on that's cool. But one thing we start with is that you have a new corporate head, a new city hall right downtown, don't you?
Yes, we have been in there. This May will be 3 years. So let's say 30. And so that has been catalytic to what's happening in our downtown. I often say that we're looking for responsible developers, people who want to build community as well as build buildings. And I think it's important that we lead by example and show that we are investing in ourselves and that we have fertile soil. And so our city hall that we moved into in 2019 has been that. It was really, I think, an opportunity to inspire our community and for our community to finally have a city hall. It's something that had been talked about for a while, but we took the plans off the shelf and actually made it happen through partnership with the Georgia Municipal Association. And so, really exciting. It is a place where we have a line out front where we do a number of different events and have really been able to have a good community space and some community connections and gatherings at our new city hall in heart of downtown East Point.
Your population is right about 38,000. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes, we had about a 14% increase in the 2020 census.
Okay, and you're the sixth largest city in Fulton County.
Yeah,
You're also 5 minutes to the airport, right?
correct.
And which is a big attraction. I do find people looking at the city because of that fact that it's businesses, et cetera, because it's so close to the airport. You can grab a cab over to the airport, and if you're late or whatever, can.
Yeah, it takes me about 10 minutes from door to door to get to the airport and get out. Unfortunately, that's not if there's construction happening though at the airport or along the way. And so because it's so close, sometimes I kind of take that for granted. but it is absolutely an attraction for me and my family. When we moved here, I'm an attorney and I was president of the Black Bar Association for Florida at the time when we first moved. So I had to do quite a bit of traveling, and to literally be straight down the street, like don't have to get on the expressway, just go through a couple lights and be at the airport is a real convenience. And we're 2 MARTA stops from the world's busiest airport as well. And so have had conversations with the general manager about how we intentionally can continue to help meet the needs of the airport and partner and do joint partnerships to really continue to welcome the world to our great city.
You have a MARTA stop in downtown, which people can
Correct.
grab to head over to the airport, right? Or to get into
Yes.
downtown and the airport in just not 5, 10 minutes to the airport, or maybe 20 minutes to downtown on the
Yep.
subway, right? Oh, MARTA. I lived in New York City for many years, so
Ah.
I always talk about I keep slipping and calling MARTA the subway because I lived in New York for 10 years. I ran out of school and then went commuted back into the city for many years after that, for many years. So
Yeah, I lived in Manhattan and Tudor City one summer while interning in undergrad. And then for my internship in law school, I lived in Flatbush, in Brooklyn. So I had fun times in New York as well. I'm a little more southern though, so I like a slower lifestyle.
planning for that, that's for sure. I grew up in D.C., but when I graduated from Maryland, I went to work on Wall Street, and I had never been to New York City before that. My boss said,
Mm.
"Get a house or apartment over on Staten Island. You can take the ferry boat to downtown Manhattan." So I did that for a long time, and it was a very pleasant ride. At that time, it was only a nickel to get to work.
Oh, wow.
it's, it's actually still a nickel. It went up, and now it's back down to just a nickel. But
Oh, wow. Awesome.
so you have
That's affordable.
you have some pet projects. I was noticing on your website, the Taste of East Point, Destination East Point, the 4th of July. East Point has what? Tell us a little bit about some of the favorite projects that you have going on there.
Yeah, so before I became a council member, I actually served as a board member of the East Point Main Street Association, and that is the organization that the city had contracted with and for several years to do our Taste of East Point event, Destination East Point event. So Taste of East Point was usually around April, followed by the 4th of July, of course, for the 4th of July, and then Destination East Point. And it attracted thousands. Those events attracted thousands of people to our city. And so when the pandemic hit, the East Point Main Street Association was responsible for the amazing fireworks show that we used to have annually in our city. And we were a board of probably 10 or less people that put on some amazing events as volunteers. And so when the last one we had, I believe, was right before the pandemic, probably in 2019 or 18. And so we're looking to reconnect with the East Point Main Street Association to be able to continue to bring those dynamic events to our city. We have also hosted the Wednesday Wind Down Summer Concert Series for, I believe, 5 years now, where we bring A-level talent to the great city of East Point in May through August on the fourth Wednesday of the month for a free summer concert series. It's an opportunity to connect with neighbors for our local residents in East Point, for people to support our downtown businesses. We have vendors there, and so some of our businesses actually come and vend at the event itself. And also for people from all around, like literally people come from all around the country to our summer concert series to experience why I say there's no point like East Point, and to really get that feeling of connectedness, community, engagement, accessibility, and fun. And so we really enjoy being able to connect in that way. And now we have a cultural arts coordinator, public arts coordinator as well. And we hosted a powwow for the first time in our city last year. It was an amazing celebration of Native American history and culture that we had not had. We also have had an Asian American film screening. We celebrate Juneteenth, celebrate Black History Month. We will have a Pride celebration this year as well. And so we are very intentional on ensuring that equity and inclusion is more than a cliche and celebrating our diversity because we know that our diversity is our strength. And so we want to make sure, for me, it's important that every East Pointer feel valued and feel a part of the government because government is of the people, for the people, and by the people.
So tell us a little bit about the Camp Creek Marketplace. Anyway, you are getting at more and more restaurants and points of interest over there. What's happening? It's very exciting.
Well, Camp Creek Marketplace was definitely something we inherited from the great Mayor Patsy Joe Hilliard and her time as leader and mayor of our great city. She was the first African American mayor of the city of East Point and African American female mayor in the state of Georgia. And so, really, that place has been the highest performing tax allocation district in the state. The restaurants over there have been number one in their chain for years. So Red Lobster, Chick-fil-A. There's an opportunity there where a lot of people come through there from all over the region, but also being so close to the airport and right down the street, we see a lot of people just visiting that area. We have a number of businesses, as you mentioned, that are there. Olive Garden just opened up there and a number of restaurants and retail, as well as we have Old Lady Gang over there. We have shopping experiences, dining experiences, and really a place for people within the East Point, in our city of East Point, to be able to have access to retail, restaurants, and entertainment as we work on bringing more of that into our downtown, but also for the region. Again, that is has been the highest performing tax allocation district in the state. We recently paid it off early, and so it was supposed to be paid off in 2026, and we've paid that off recently. And so that'll be additional revenue now coming into our city to be able to continue to serve our residents and enhance the quality of life opportunities and experiences that we have in our city, as well as excellent services.
You have a federal opportunity zone there. That's different from the allocation. Tell us a
Yes,
little
so
bit
the
about
federal
it.
opportunity zone is more kind of in our downtown area where what is known as our Commons project. So the city owns just under 9 acres across the street from City Hall. And we've entered into a public-private partnership with a developer to put a mixed-use development there. So that is within the opportunity zone, and it kind of stretches into some other areas over where even the the Walmart is. I'm sorry, I can't even think. The Walmart is on Cleveland Avenue. So it's more of an area, the opportunity zone is more of an area where there's an opportunity to redevelop and to really revitalize an area to increase the quality of life opportunities and experience for our residents and to make the area a more vibrant space.
Now, will you be interested in talking to multifamily developers there, or what? When you said it would be a mixed use, does that include multifamily, or will that mostly be?
Yeah, yeah, so a lot of the development right now we are building. I say we're building our skyline. We're creating our skyline in downtown East Point. There's a lot of development happening in the heart of our downtown. So we have the Commons project, which will be mixed use, residential and retail. We also have right behind the MARTA station where Buggy Works and Wagon Works is. That property has been assembled. It's called the East Point Exchange, and so there will be market rate multifamily units there, as well as in the Wagon Works building. There's another developer that has that site, and it will be workforce development housing. So for people between like $45,000 to $65,000, as well as phase two of that development may also include home ownership options. So all of that on one footprint within the heart of our downtown. Our East Point Housing Authority has been very active as well, and so they have completed phase one of a senior multifamily development and are building phase two. So we'll have 340 senior units. Right now, 180 are online. They're building another 160. But they also have in the heart of our downtown what will be known as Aya Tower. And so will be a mixed use residential, excuse me, not mixed use, it'll be a residential development with just under 90 units for people a certain level of AMI, but it's not restricted to seniors. It's open to families. And so within the heart of our downtown, that helps ensure that we have mixed housing at different mixed income levels. We also have Malibu Point that opened several years ago in downtown, which is also a workforce housing development, multifamily in the heart of our downtown. So we're seeing quite a bit of multifamily, medium to high density type developments coming to our downtown area to again help us build our skyline and create more retail, entertainment, restaurant options for our local residents and also for people who come to our great city from around the region and across the country.
So, just from a macro standpoint, what kind of elevator pitch would you extend to investors interested in East Point from a just like very broad stroke type investor, individuals or fund managers, or how would you address that? Because you have a lot of things going on. One thing that's going to attract a lot of attention is the big increase in property values there, and that always is a trigger to investors. So, what do you have land available, or what kind of investment opportunities are available?
So there's quite a bit of land. We are landlocked, so we don't have the ability to kind of annex and bring more land in. We are surrounded on all sides by other municipalities, but there are some land availability. There is some land available within our city. Quite a bit of it is in our industrial areas, and so our forefathers had a vision that we would be a very industrial city for, I guess, quite some time. That has changed, and we have several residential neighborhoods that are near industrial areas. And so we're looking for people who want to come in and basically have adaptive reuse of our vacant industrial properties so that we can move and transition from industrial uses to things that are more compatible and that enhance the quality of life of our residents, kind of like the Krog Street Market feel or other types of mixed use commercial type developments on these very large footprints that will actually enhance the quality of life of our residents, provide additional offerings for our residents. We are also looking for developers who are interested in mixed income development. I am. So I believe that it is definitely a strength to have housing that anyone can afford within your city at all income levels, right? And so that is something that we have in East Point that I think is a huge asset, and I think it's something that we would like to keep. And so while I mentioned our East Point Housing Authority, who's a critical partner to our comprehensive housing strategy and housing plan around ensuring that as we grow, we are actually creating new units at all income levels. There's also low income, moderate, middle, and high income. And how do we create developments that speak to having more of a mixed income use, not 10% affordable and 8% market? That's an 80% gap that never closes. And when it does eventually close in 10 or 15 years, it's 100% market. And it also pushes out people who've been in the city for decades in a way that is just, to me, not humane. And I think there's a way to grow equitably and have equitable growth and inclusion and grow in a way that continues to speak to and meet the needs of everyone at all different income levels and ensure that we continue to build housing and new housing inventory at every different income level and have mixed incomes within one footprint. And so when I talked about the East Point Exchange, I mentioned there'll be market rate housing, there'll be workforce development housing, and there will also potentially be home ownership options all in one project on one footprint. And I believe that that is the way to grow equitably and grow in a way that ensures that our legacy residents and our legacy businesses will still be able to be here with us and grow as we welcome new people in. And so we have a lot of opportunities. We have a number of homes that are, I call the opportunity to go from blight to bright. Some homes within different neighborhoods that we are either in our 50 worst properties program where we help to ensure that those properties are kept up to code through using our court system and code enforcement, but a number of different opportunities for either first time home buyers. Again, if you're at any income level, we have a place for you, but as well as for those who want to get into investment and maybe start buying some homes to ensure that we continue to have an affordable housing stock or housing affordability and diversity within our housing inventory within our great city. So a number of great opportunities within the great city of East Point.
Well, you also have a very favorable logistics there with respect to access to the major highways, 285, 75, and 85. How has that impacted the attractiveness of the city to investors and residents?
Well, I think that's helping us be attractive to, those types of logistics companies and those who rely heavily on being close to the world's busiest airport or being close to an airport for their distribution. But, along with that, though, we're also looking at businesses who are attracted to that level of logistics assets or bright spots that don't bring in additional truck traffic or high volume truck traffic that then negatively impacts the quality of life of our residents. So it's always a balancing act, right? And so we understand how attractive we are, but we also understand that we can and believe that we want more high expectation developments. We have enough industrial warehouses within the city. There's opportunities to bring other, retail, restaurant, entertainment, mixed use type spaces on these industrial lots that are vacant to be able to continue to enhance what we can offer our existing residents as well as new residents.
What about the hotel and dining restaurants industry? How Tell us a little bit about that and its impact in the community.
Yeah, so exciting. We have about 17 hotels within the city of East Point, and we recently, last year, effective July 1st of 2022, we have our own East Point Convention and Visitors Bureau that focuses specifically on marketing and promoting tourism within our city to get heads and beds in the hotels that are actually in the city of East Point. So very excited about that. We have our new executive director for the East Point Convention and Visitors Bureau is Chantel Francois. She worked with the Atlanta Convention and Visitors Bureau previously, and actually, when they were our destination marketing organization, she was responsible for East Point's account, and so has a high level of familiarity with our city locally, but as well as a very international niche. And so that's given us an opportunity to really be attractive to other types of events and festivals and things that will come to our city or come to the area around our city, but ensure that we have heads and beds in the hotels within our city to be able to support those hotels and help them be successful as we welcome the world to our city.
Well, you have a pretty active senior citizen center over there. I think we talked briefly about it a minute ago, but I know that's according to my friend, it's like a world class facility. He's got every kind of classes that he can take.
Yeah.
You got um, from computer science to pottery and everything in between. What I'd like to address that because it's such a world class facility. And we haven't talked about many other things too, but let's try to touch on that and then the velodrome. And I mean, the thing that appeals to a lot of people is the attractiveness of that facility to the active adult and senior citizens.
Absolutely. Our seniors are definitely the lifeblood of our community. And that to have this Bowden Center be in our downtown area, while it serves a lot of East Point residents, there are also residents that come from other cities there. It is a very active facility. My mom, who lives with us, actually attends the Bowden Center at times as well for a number of different classes. They have the water aerobics classes, health and fitness classes, and we're actually launching our annual 90-day health initiative known as the Healthy Point this Saturday, and we'll have a number of different classes. But I'm excited that this year it will be the first time that we've actually been able to partner with the Bowden Center. And so all of the health and fitness classes that are offered there seniors who are attending that facility. So you have to be at least 55 years old to attend there. But those activities will go towards earning incentives within our Healthy Point 90-day initiative. And so that place is the Bowden Center is invaluable to our ability to be able to provide services and resources to the residents in our community and in this region. And I'm so honored to have it be in our downtown area.
And you have a velodrome, right? Is that people? A lot of people
Yes,
don't
we
know what
do.
that is. Even why don't you help people explain what that is?
Oh my. The velodrome is something I'm somewhat adventurous at times, but I do not think I could ever get on a bike on the velodrome because you are literally riding sideways, like I'm leaning, and it looks like it's defying gravity, and they're going like 60, 70 miles per hour around this circular track. It's an amazing asset for our city. It actually came during the when the Olympics were here in '96 to be able to help connect to the activities and the sporting events as a part of the Olympics. So I believe it is the only one with a big oak tree in the middle of it. And it actually also, I think there's very few in the country. It may be one of four in the entire country. And so we have that in our great city near Sumner Park, as well as where our model mile for our East Point Path is. And so there's a level of living livable center space around that where we can encourage walking, and we have a dog park in that area and all of that nestled around the velodrome.
Mayor, I know you're very busy, and I appreciate your time. I asked for 30 minutes, and you've been most gracious to give us
No
35
problem.
or 40 minutes. And thank you very much. We still have plenty more to talk about, including the walking trails that you just mentioned that we didn't get time to talk about. But I know you're continuing to work on that and expand that. But thank you very, very much for all you do to contribute to the well-being of your community and the community at large for the metro area. Appreciate all
Well,
your
thank you
sacrifice.
so much for creating a space for us to share what we do and to share our story. We greatly appreciate your support.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're
And
welcome.
thank you for
Have a good
watching, and have a nice day.